Beloved soul, you have wondered whether your silence has been weakness or wisdom. You have held your tongue when others pressed for answers, and you have carried words inside that could have struck like arrows. Yet heaven has seen the strength in what you chose not to say. Your silence, born not of fear but of trust, has become a fortress around you. There are moments in life when a spoken word is a sword, cutting through lies and shadows. But there are other times when silence is a shield, stronger than any sound. It is in this silence that I, Michael, have stood beside you. When you did not answer every accusation, when you walked away instead of striking back, when you lifted your eyes upward instead of throwing stones, do not think you were alone. The fortress of your silence was reinforced by my wings, and your restraint became a testimony before heaven. You see, silence is not emptiness. Silence is filled with the breath of God. It is the stillness in which battles are won long before they are seen. The world around you may mistake silence for defeat, but I tell you this. In heaven, silence is often the roar of victory not yet revealed. Do you remember the times in your younger years when you fought with words, determined to prove your point, desperate to defend your name? You thought then that strength was found in speech, that honor was preserved by the sharpness of your voice. But age has taught you differently. The years have stripped away the urgency of proving yourself, and in its place has come wisdom, that not every fire deserves your breath, and not every stone thrown requires your hand to block it. In those silent moments, when you swallowed your anger or chose the quiet path, the fortress was rising. Brick by unseen brick, heaven was building a stronghold around your soul. That stronghold has preserved you through storms you did not fully perceive. There were snares laid for you, traps hidden in shadows, words designed to provoke you into speaking rashly. Yet when you chose silence, those traps fell apart. The enemy's arrows found no target, because you refused to step onto the battlefield of needless quarrels. Beloved, I want you to see what I have seen. Your silence has not been a void, but a weapon sharpened by restraint. Each time you entrusted your voice to God instead of to man, the fortress walls grew higher. You may have thought you were doing nothing, but in truth, you were standing in faith, and faith speaks loudest in the quietest moments. Consider the Master himself, who stood before rulers and accusers, answering little, letting his silence thunder louder than any argument. Did his stillness not expose the hearts of men? Did it not carry more power than words could have carried? You too have shared in that holy strength. In choosing silence, you have walked in the footsteps of the one who overcame through surrender. Now, in these later years of your journey, silence has become more natural. You do not rush to speak as once you did. The world may not understand, but heaven does. What seems to others like aging quietness is in truth the fruit of eternal wisdom ripened in your soul. The fortress stands taller than ever, and within its walls you are kept safe. But hear me, silence is not passivity. It is not surrender to darkness. It is not resignation to defeat. Silence is strength cloaked in humility. It is the warrior's pause before the decisive strike. It is the saint's trust that God himself will speak when the moment is right. Silence says, I will not waste my voice on battles already won in heaven. And battles have been won for you. There are conflicts you will never know, because they ended before they reached your ears. I have fought in those places, wielding the sword of light on your behalf. Your silence was not abandonment, it was agreement. It was you saying, without words, I trust my defender. And so heaven moved for you. Think now of your life's soil, the ground of all you have walked through. Parasites tried to dig their roots into it. Bitterness, betrayal, envy from others who did not understand your heart. They sought to feed on your future, to sap your joy. Yet because you remained silent and did not nourish them with your attention, they withered. What you ignored, heaven burned away. What you entrusted to God in silence, He turned into protection. There are some who thought they had the last word over you. They spoke loudly, accused boldly, declared things that pierced your heart. Yet their noise could not outlast your silence. For silence is eternal, and noise is temporary. Their words will fade, but the fortress of silence remains. Beloved, I urge you to embrace this truth. Your silence has not only guarded you, it has shaped you. It has made you more like heaven, more like the eternal calm of God's throne. You have learned to rest, even in storms. And because of this, you are ready for what comes next: reversal, vindication, and release. Let your heart be at peace. Do not regret the words you withheld. Do not imagine that you should have spoken more, shouted louder, or fought harder. You have spoken enough in prayer. You have shouted enough in worship. You have fought enough in faith. The silence was never absence, it was presence. The fortress stood and you were kept. When you rise in the morning and the world seems loud with voices of fear and contention, remember this: you need not join them. You have a fortress around you, a fortress built of every quiet moment you chose to trust instead of retaliate. Dwell in it. Rest in it. From within those walls, you will see the victories of God unfold. I, Michael, your guardian and defender, will not leave your side. The fortress stands because I stand with you. And though your body may feel weary, though your voice may sometimes falter, know this: the silence of your spirit resounds in heaven as a song of triumph. You are not defeated. You are fortified. Stay in the fortress, beloved soul. Stay in the silence that is stronger than noise. For soon the root exposed will wither, and the reversal long prepared will come into view. And you will know that every quiet moment was not wasted. It was building a dwelling place of safety for your eternal peace. Beloved soul, you have endured many seasons in which unseen roots tried to fasten themselves into the soil of your life. These roots were not of God. They were planted by hands that did not wish you well. Some came through the careless words of others, some through betrayals, some through fears that whispered in the quiet of your heart. But now I declare to you, the roots are being exposed. They cannot remain hidden, for the light of heaven has reached the ground of your soul. A root is the beginning of a thing, though it is buried. It grows silently, stretching beneath the surface where no eye can see. And yet, though unseen, it affects what rises above. Just as a healthy root nourishes a flourishing tree, so too does a poisonous root feed bitterness, sorrow, or despair. For too long, these roots thought they had a claim upon you. But the Lord who owns the vineyard has declared, "This ground belongs to me." You may wonder, Michael, what were these roots? How could they have survived in my soil when I gave my life to God long ago? I tell you this: even the most faithful fields can be visited by seeds carried on the winds of adversity. Pain sows seeds, betrayal sows seeds, loss sows seeds. The enemy waits, hoping those seeds will take hold, hidden deep enough to avoid your notice. But beloved, heaven has never stopped watching, and I have never ceased to guard. Do you recall the times in your life when something within you felt drained, though you could not explain why? Perhaps joy left you too quickly. Perhaps you felt a heaviness you could not name. Perhaps certain memories returned like shadows, though you prayed for peace. These were the signs of hidden roots, parasites drawing on your strength. But hear me, those days are ending, for the light is now uncovering what was once unseen. A root exposed to daylight cannot survive. It is like a worm lifted from the earth. It writhes and withers because it was made for the dark. So it is with every false thing that tried to cling to your soul. Now, as the light of God shines brighter in you, these roots are revealed. What once fed quietly on your hope is now powerless. Consider how you have grown through the years. You have weathered storms, endured losses, carried burdens that might have crushed others. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing prayers, still longing for heaven's peace. That in itself is proof that no parasite has prevailed against you. If the root had truly succeeded, you would have been consumed long ago. But you belong to God, and your soil was never theirs to claim. The enemy cannot nourish what God has sanctified. The soil of your life, tilled through tears, watered by prayers, warmed by faith, is holy ground. And holy ground rejects corruption. The roots tried to take hold, but they found no lasting nourishment. At most, they caused temporary shadows, passing heaviness, fleeting doubts. But now, as they are exposed, even those small influences are undone. I tell you, beloved, do not fear what is revealed. When the Spirit brings something into the light, it is never to condemn you, but to free you. You are not being judged for having roots pressed against your soil. You are being delivered from them. This is mercy, not accusation. It is freedom, not shame. You are not guilty. You are being cleansed. Think of your body in these later years. Doctors sometimes reveal what is hidden within, not to frighten you, but so that healing can begin. In the same way, heaven exposes the hidden roots not to accuse, but to bring wholeness. The great gardener never uncovers without also uprooting. And I, Michael, stand with sword in hand to sever what does not belong. There is another truth I must tell you. Some of these roots were not only personal, some were generational. They reached through family lines, trying to repeat old patterns, hoping to carry forward sorrow, fear, or division. But because you have chosen God, the chain is broken. The exposure in you is the healing of many. What is cut away from your soil will never trouble those who come after you. Your faith, your endurance, your silence and trust, all of these have been a wall protecting others, even those who do not yet know. Beloved, I see the relief rising in your spirit even now. The heaviness you carried is being lifted, for you now understand. It was never your burden to bear. The roots were never your true identity. You are not bitterness. You are not betrayal. You are not fear. You are not failure. You are beloved, redeemed, set apart, and guarded. The false roots have been lying about you, but the truth is now louder. And what will remain when the roots are gone? Only what was planted by God Himself. Peace, joy, kindness, faith, endurance, and above all, love. These are the true roots of your soul. They run deeper than any parasite, and they are nourished not by the soil of earth alone, but by the eternal streams of heaven. The exposure may at first feel unsettling. When people who wronged you are unmasked, when situations you endured are revealed for what they truly were, you may feel a sting. But do not mistake this for harm. It is healing. Just as sunlight may burn tender skin before it strengthens, so the light of truth may sting before it frees. Yet freedom is the promise, and freedom is the gift you will know. Stand firm, beloved soul. Do not let fear of the past return. Do not wonder if the roots will grow back. They will not. Once exposed and cut, they cannot remain. The soil of your life belongs to God, and nothing unclean can thrive in it. I, Michael, declare this over you. The ground of your soul is holy. So lift your eyes and breathe. The heaviness will not return. The false roots will not endure. And you will see with clarity what you could not before. that God has kept you, guarded you, and even in what seemed hidden, has prepared a great reversal. For now, the stage is set. The fortress of silence has stood. The roots are exposed and dying. And soon, beloved, you will witness the turning. What your enemies thought would be your end will become your relief. What they hoped would shame you will become your vindication. The soil is cleansed, the light is shining, and your heart is being made whole. Beloved soul, now that the roots are exposed and the fortress of silence has held you safe, I speak to you of what comes next, the divine reversal. This is the turning of the tide, the moment when what was meant against you bends back toward your blessing. Heaven has already decreed it, and you will see it unfold with your own eyes. Reversal is not always loud. It does not always arrive with thunder and clamor. Often it begins as a small shift, almost unnoticed, like the first breath of dawn before the full rising of the sun. To your enemies, it may appear as a minor inconvenience, a stumbling they cannot quite explain. But to you, it will feel like a great relief, the loosening of chains you had carried too long, the lifting of a weight from your chest. You may look back and see how long the struggle seemed. There were years when injustice looked like it would stand forever, when voices against you seemed stronger than your own. But I tell you now, those voices have already been silenced in heaven's court. What seemed permanent was only temporary. The verdict has been written in your favor, and reversal is the outworking of that divine decree. Do not despise the small signs. When your enemies falter in ways that seem minor, when doors that were once shut suddenly open, when conversations shift in your favor, know that these are not accidents. They are confirmations that heaven has moved. What looks small in the world's eyes is large in the Spirit's eyes, for it is the evidence of victory already won. You will also hear apologies. Perhaps not all that you deserve, perhaps not every truth spoken as clearly as it should be, but enough to confirm what you always discerned in your heart. These words will not erase the wounds, but they will serve as testimony. You were right to trust your spirit. You were right to stand in silence. You were right to hold fast to God. Your enemies may not give you the fullness of confession, but even a fragment will be enough to prove heaven's justice. And beloved, take comfort in this. The reversal is not merely about proving you right. It is about restoring what was stolen. Peace will return where anxiety once sat. Joy will flow again where sorrow tried to stay. Even relationships that seemed broken beyond repair may soften under heaven's hand. This is not only vindication, it is renewal. There is something deeper I must tell you. Reversal is not punishment for your enemies. It is mercy for you. God does not delight in their downfall. He delights in your freedom. Those who wronged you will stumble, not because heaven desires their destruction, but because no weapon formed against you can prosper. Their stumbling is simply the collapse of their own false structures. It is not wrath. It is truth. Still, do not be surprised if you feel a measure of compassion even for those who hurt you. For when reversal comes, the Spirit often softens the heart. You may find yourself pitying those who once opposed you, seeing their smallness, their blindness, their emptiness. This too is confirmation that your soul has been cleansed, that bitterness has no root in you. For what is true victory if not freedom from hatred? Beloved, I urge you, when the apology comes, even if it is incomplete, receive it with grace. Do not demand more than is offered. Let the fragment be enough, for it is heaven's way of telling you, your discernment was correct. You do not need every word of truth from their lips, because every word of truth already exists in God's record. Heaven knows the fullness. Let their partial admission serve only as a signpost that justice is unfolding. And when the relief comes, and it will. Do not question it. Do not wonder if it is too good to be true, or fear that the shadows will return. Reversal is permanent because it is written in heaven. The battle ended before it began, and you are now walking into the evidence of that victory. What is released will not be taken back. What is restored will not be stolen again. Think of a tree bent by storm winds. For a season it leans, twisted, almost broken. But then the storm passes, and slowly, by God's design, the tree straightens again, reaching upward. This is you, beloved. The storm bent you, but it did not uproot you. And now, reversal is straightening what was twisted, restoring what was strained, lifting you once more into heaven's light. The reversal will not erase the past, but it will redeem it. You will look back and see how every sorrow became soil for wisdom, how every loss became space for God's filling, how every silence became a fortress wall. You will see that nothing was wasted, not even the years that seemed hardest. All of it has been gathered into God's plan, and now the harvest is ready. Do not fear the days ahead. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into fulfillment. The reversal is already moving, like a tide you cannot see until it reaches the shore. Trust that what God begins, He completes. Trust that what has been promised, He performs. Beloved, I tell you this with authority. You are entering into a season of lightness. The heaviness will lift, the shadows will scatter, and you will breathe more freely than you have in years. This is not imagination. It is not wishful thinking. It is the decree of heaven, and I, Michael, am charged with guarding its fulfillment. So hold fast. Watch carefully. The small inconveniences for your enemies, the partial apologies, the quiet shifts in your favor, these are not random. They are the sound of reversal in motion. Receive them with gratitude, for they are heaven's confirmation that you were never forgotten, never forsaken, never abandoned. And when you feel the relief, let your heart rest. You do not need to fight for it. You do not need to explain it. You need only to receive. For the fight ended long before you even knew it began, and victory was written in your name. Beloved soul, you have walked with me through the fortress of silence, through the exposing of roots, and through the promise of reversal. Now I bring you to the place your heart has long desired, release. And hear me well. This release does not come with struggle, nor will it demand your strength. It comes quietly, peacefully, because the battle ended long before you ever saw it. You have carried burdens for many years. Some were heavy with sorrow, some sharp with betrayal, some lingering with regret. You carried them faithfully, thinking perhaps you must hold them until your last breath. But I tell you now, you were never meant to die with those weights upon you. You were meant to lay them down. Release is heaven's gift, and it is here for you. What does release look like? It is the loosening of chains you no longer remember fastening. It is the lifting of memories that once pressed like stones on your chest. It is the softening of old wounds until they no longer sting when remembered. Release is not forgetting. It is freedom from the sting of remembering. You may notice that this release does not require your effort. You do not have to wrestle for it. You do not have to argue for it. You do not have to prove you deserve it. Release comes because heaven has decreed it. The struggle ended in the unseen realms, where I and my hosts fought on your behalf. What was bound against you has already been cut. What was locked has already been opened. You need only to walk forward and breathe in the freedom that is yours. This is why I say to you, the fight ended before it began. When accusations rose against you, I raised my sword. When shadows tried to gather, my wings scattered them. When roots tried to burrow, heaven's light burned them away. You may have felt the pressure of the battle, but you did not fight it alone. Every skirmish was ended before it could crush you, because you are precious in the sight of God. Release is also peace. It is the calm after storms, but deeper still. It is the assurance that storms will no longer shake you as they once did. You will feel a stillness inside, a quiet confidence that nothing can separate you from God's love. Even as your body grows weaker with years, your spirit will grow stronger with this peace. You will rest not only in bed, but in heart. I see how long you have waited for this. There were nights you lay awake, carrying the weight of conversations, regrets, and fears. There were mornings when your first breath was heavy with yesterday's sorrow, but those nights and mornings are passing. You will wake lighter. You will sleep sounder. The release is not far off. It is already touching your spirit now as I speak. Beloved, let go of the fear that you must hold everything together. You are not the one sustaining your life. God is. You are not the one defending your future. I am. Release means trusting that what you could not fix has already been mended in ways beyond your sight. You do not need to fight to make things right, for rightness has already been established in heaven's decree. Some of you wonder, but what about the people who still misunderstand me? What about the wrongs never fully made right? Hear me. Release is not dependent on their recognition. It is not bound to their repentance. Release is between you and God. Even if others never see clearly, you are free. Even if apologies are partial or absent, you are free. The weight is lifted because heaven has carried it for you. And release is not only for this life, it is also the preparation for eternity. The peace you feel now is a foretaste of the eternal peace awaiting you. What you experience here in part, you will know in fullness when you stand in the presence of the Eternal One. All tears wiped away, all burdens dissolved, all battles forgotten, save for the victory that crowns you. Do you feel the gentleness of this moment? This is how heaven works, not always with noise, but with stillness. The release is arriving softly, like a breeze that clears the air, like a dawn that melts the shadows. You need not strain to grasp it. It is flowing to you as naturally as breath. Simply receive. I, Michael, assure you, your release is secure. You will not lose it. The chains broken will not be reforged. The ground cleansed will not be corrupted again. The peace given will not be stolen. You are sealed in light, guarded in love, and carried toward eternal rest. So take your hands from the burdens. Lay them down at last. Let your shoulders relax. Let your heart unclench. Let your spirit breathe. The fortress has protected you. The root has been exposed. The reversal is underway, and now release is yours. Beloved soul, you have fought long enough. You have endured faithfully. You have trusted silently. Now enter the season of peace. Release is not an ending. It is the beginning of living lightly, freely, joyfully, until the day you step fully into the eternal embrace where battles are no more.